For the fourth and final installment of the Slingshot Deep Dive series, I'll go over exactly how to use a slingshot. Hey everyone, Selman here from Wynn. On today's video, I'll be going over exactly how to use a slingshot. So the slingshot does take a couple of sessions to get used to, just to get that motor pattern down. Although it's very similar to a regular bench press, the elastic does have a slight learning curve, but shouldn't take you more than a couple of weeks to get used to. When first introducing the slingshot into your training, I'd recommend taking about 2 weeks to get used to the motor pattern, as well as how it affects your bench press, how it affects your wrists, your elbows, the way you press. So I wouldn't try going for any new rep maxes or new weights when you first get it. Give it a couple of weeks, and then you want to gradually build up, much like anything. So when you first get it, I would stick to maybe 60 to 70% of your 1 rep max, right around that 6 to 7 RPE range. That'll help you get used to moderate loads with the slingshot. Keep in mind, it is an elastic material, so with lighter weights, you won't really get much use out of it. Right around 185 pounds is when I'll be able to easily get that barbell to touch my chest with the original slingshot. That's going to change based on the different slingshot you get. So sticking with that 60-70% range, I would definitely focus on getting a lot more reps in. That's why I recommend a lighter weight. This will help you get used to that motor pattern a lot sooner. Instead of doing 4x5 reps, think of doing 4x10 reps or 5x10 reps. Because remember, you're not really fatiguing the muscle here because you are using those really light weights, but you're really focusing on getting that technique down and getting your body used to how the slingshot affects your bench press. And once you are used to how the slingshot's affecting your bench press, then you can start slowly adding some weight and seeing what new rep and weight maxes you can hit. Okay, so first step will be to keep the logo out, not for marketing purposes, but because the sticker on the front doesn't really stretch and will bind up on your clothes. So make sure you keep that out. Second step obviously will be to put the slingshot on your arms. Bring it up as high as you can. You can use the little hole in the side there to fry that up your arm. I like to make sure that the stitching lines up with where the crease of my elbow is. That's for my limb lengths. I'm 5'8", so it might depend on how long your arms are and how tall you are as a lifter. You can thread it on both arms, and it should sit like that. And when you bring your arms down, it should just sit on your chest. You want to get into a regular bench press position like usual. Everything still stands the same. I like to bench press with my pinky fingers on the powerlifting rings. That gives me a good balance between stretch and support without coming too far in. So if your grip is too far in, like a close grip bench, you won't be getting that much elastic support. If your grip's so far out, like if you have your index fingers out, the elastic force is going to want to pull your elbows in a lot more. So I think the pinkies on the ring is a great balance between those two. So you're going to unrack the weight, hold it around here. Now we're going to probably touch a little bit lower than we're used to. If you are used to a powerlifting bench press setup, you probably touch at the same place. But simply lower the barbell down and then push back up. So Mark does recommend putting a slight pause on the bottom of the bench press when you're using the slingshot. I think that comes from the powerlifting days where you do need a pause to compete in the bench press. I also think that's just a great rule to follow, not just with the slingshot, but even without the slingshot, because what it does is it stops you from getting any bounce or rebound off of the chest, so not bouncing the barbell up off the chest and pushing back up. That bounce off the chest isn't great because it doesn't achieve anything other than, say, ego lifting. It's deactivating a bunch of muscles. If you bounce the barbell off your chest and you're really catching the weight, say halfway up. So at that point, you're only really performing half bench pressing. You're not really performing a full rep bench press. So when we bounce the barbell off the chest with a slingshot, we're getting 2 mechanical advantages, which is decreasing any hypertrophy or strength response we might be looking to get out of the slingshot, or out of the bench press for that matter. So when I am using the slingshot, I like to warm up with an empty barbell and without the slingshot. I'll roughly do around 30 reps with the empty barbell. The next set will be around 30% of my 1 rep max for 15, then 40% for 10 reps. And then I'll work up to around 60% of my 1 rep max, and that will be when I throw on the slingshot. I think the 60% range is a great place to put it in, just because it does allow you to feel how the slingshot is going to be affecting your bench press for that day, just because the weight is enough to offset that elastic So when I hit that 60% of that 1 rep max, I'll perform the same number of working reps that I want to do with a slingshot for about 1 to 2 sets with that weight, just so I get used to how the bench press is feeling for that day. And then from there, I'll continue to add weights incrementally until I get to my working sets. So take this for example, my target for today will be 4 sets with 245 pounds for 9 reps. So what does this look like? First set is going to be empty barbell for 30 reps, or two sets of 15 with the empty barbell, however you like to break that up. Next set will be 95 pounds for 15 reps, then 135 pounds for 10 reps, followed by 185 pounds for 5 reps with the slingshot on, and then another set of 185 pounds for 9 reps with the slingshot on. And if that feels good, we'll do 225 pounds for 9 reps with the slingshot on, and then the next set will be our first working set with 245 pounds for 9 reps. That's how I like to warm up. Up until we put the slingshot on, we're looking at maybe 30 seconds rest in between, less than, because you don't really need a full minute rest between an empty barbell and 95 pounds. So make sure to check out this video where I review the slingshot by Mark Bell. Also be sure to check out the playlist so you can catch up on the previous episodes of the Slingshot Deep Dive series. If you've gotten value out of the video, please consider clicking that like button. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. This has been someone from Wynn Strength, and remember, a better life through strength.